What's up, guys? Matty here at mixandmastermysong.com. Today we're going to go over a review of the new Acustica Audio Sand 3 plugin suite. It's a lot to cover. They have done a ton of different emulations. It's basically based on an SSL. So we'll dive through all the different versions they have. We'll play some examples, and we'll also compare them to some other plugins out that emulate SSLs as well. Before we do get started, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get going. All right, guys, so this is the main Sand 3 strip, okay? And we're just going to kind of run through what all these different emulations are first, and then we'll play some examples after. So basically you have a bunch of different preamps here that you can choose from: mix, bus, and I'll tell you what they are. Then 3 different kinds of EQs here that you can choose from. And then 3 different compressor emulations you can choose from. So all these are emulations. And then you have your basic EQ like any SSL does. And if you know SSLs, you recognize the way these settings are for the compressor as well. So starting on the pre, mix is channel strip emulation. So what it is, it's the pre is going through the channel. And that's the harmonics and so forth that you get. The A mode is mic. It's a mic pre. It's more transparent sounding, and that's what they say. The B mode, which over here, mix B, is a little more harmonic. It's one of their kind of homebrew type things, and might give you a little more harmonic content. And then off is just off. And then in the bus modes, you have 3 different bus modes as well. And these are like some sort of virtual emulation. It's always hard to kind of figure out exactly what's going on with Acustica. But the C mode, so it's basically the same A and B. And then the C mode is a quad bus compressor preamp. Okay, so hopefully that all makes some sort of sense. Next, we'll go to the EQs. So you have A EQ, which is from what I can understand, emulated from a SSL 4000, and then the B1, which is a 5000 brown knob, according to some of the guys the Acustica audio files. And then the C is the beautiful sounding 9000, which is the newer SSL, and what a lot of the guys out here in LA use that do a lot of the pop, hip hop, R&B stuff. So those are the modes. And then lastly, you've got 3 modes on the compressor. So basically A and C are both stereo compressors that you find in an SSL, the bus compressor that's really famous for. So A and C are those. And then D is the actual channel strip compressor on each channel that you have of an SSL. Okay, so hopefully that's understood. And then they have all these different routings you can do. And you guys can look in the manual for this. I'm not going to go through all this, but you can, route whether you want to go, compressor, filter, EQ, or compressor, filter, EQ, starting from somewhere else. So it gets kind of crazy. You can look all that up. And then finally, you have your filters here and a wet and dry knob, which is pretty cool. And then the input and the output trim. Okay. So that's the basics of the channel strip. Now, to add more, as Acustica does, they're giving you 2 more EQ channel strips. And this is from, I think it's called Sonic Drops or Sound Drops, another company that does emulations based on the Acustica science. So this is the Sand 3 Plus E, which I can only assume is a E Plus console. And then they also have the Sand 3 G+. So these are 2 more emulations on top of the 3 you already get, I think. So 5 different EQ options that you have. So tons of stuff. Now, what's really cool about these new EQs is the metering has gotten really, really good. And you can switch the metering from VU to K14, I mean, all the different kinds of meters that you can get. And if you watch, the metering is just fantastic on these. So that's very much welcomed. I kind of wish they had added it on their regular EQ, but they didn't. So the new metering only really comes with these two different sand extension EQs, whatever you want to call it. Oh no, it is on the EQ by itself. Sorry about that. And then, so this is just like the regular sand EQ. It has the A, B, and C like we went over on the channel strip. What's also cool is you can pick the pre on this one. So this is the Acustica emulation of it. So I hope this isn't all too confusing, but there's a lot to cover. Okay, so the thing I was most excited about with this new version of Sand was the fact that on the pre, now this is just the pre emulation, the pre, they sampled 32 lines of an SSL, which means each channel was sampled, which kind of gives you the same exact thing as what you would do if you were summing. And it sounds like summing to me. It sounds really good. And then they have a bus emulations here, which go out to the final transformers of the SSL. And then they also have, I believe, 16 mic channels as well. And then this custom thing, which is some other stuff. I've been using the line a lot, and it sounds really cool. So what I want to do first, before we get into the other stuff, is I have the Sand pre on this. This is a drum beat from a Meekins song. And so I have the Sand 3 on all the music, each music track, the drums, and the bass. And if you look, they're all on different lines. So like this bass is line 1, one of these drums is line 5. So everyone has its own channel of the SSL. So let me play. I just got a 1-bar loop because I always find that you can really hear the difference with 1-bar loops better than just listening through the song. So I'm going to play it. There'll be a click. That's just the way this stuff works. But I'll play it for a few seconds without it on, and then you'll see I'll turn them all on. You can hear the difference. And so you can hear it, like what people always say, and what I've gotten with summing is a little more width, a little more definition, a little more expensiveness. And to me, they nailed it with that Sand 3 pre. Like you feel like, I'll play it again, listen to the reverb on that synth. And when it's on and off, you'll hear this, the tails are a lot more cleaner and clear. There's also a bit more separation in the mix too. So really cool stuff. What we'll do is we'll go through the EQ really quick just to show you what you can do with it. Let's do it on this pluck. And we're going to use the C mode. And really simple stuff. There we go. I was wondering why we weren't hearing anything. I was like, this thing is. So the EQ sounds really great, and you can switch through to different EQs, try different things. Really great SSL sound. And finally, the last thing I kind of want to check out is the bus compressor. And what we're going to do with this is compare it to the UAD bus compressor so you guys can hear the difference. Let me turn the solo off and make sure these channels are off just so we're the same. And so now all we're doing is running through the pre of the Sand 3. And then we're going to go to this bus compressor first. We'll start with the Acustica one, and then I'll turn it off and switch it to the SSL one. You guys can let me know what you think here. So they sound like they're doing the same closely, but this one to me has a better energy and presence than this one. This feels a little dull. This feels a little more open. Both could be used great in either situation, but if I had to pick, I'd use the Sand 3 compressor. And it's cool you have the different bus modes. So bus 5 through 8 are stereo, and these are mono. So I just stick it on 5 because it's a stereo track. But you could switch also and check out the different compressors. What we'll do really quick is switch these. This is the channel strip, so just try these two and see what the difference is. The C one actually sounds a little closer to the way this one sounded. Let's check that. A little bit closer. This one still sounds a little duller. Let's compress this a lot and just see what it sounds. To me, the release is a little funky on this when compressed really hard. Oh, but hold on, we're on auto mode here. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Now, let's go back and try our first example now with both of these on auto, because that was a little bit of an unfair advantage. That's my fault for that. Here we go. So a bit closer with the auto, and sorry about that for not having that switched over in the first example. I'm a bit closer, but this still just has a little bit more presence, I think, than this one. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. There's a lot to cover, and I really suggest if you're interested in this Sand 3 to download the software and demo it out, because like I said, there's so many different variations. Almost too much, which is weird. Usually we're all excited to get tons of free stuff, but I'm almost kind of overwhelmed on what to use. Now, the thing I've been using the most since having this for the last week is the pre's. The pre's are awesome. I really like the sound it gets. It gives you that kind of analog vibe without having to go outside the box, which is awesome to me. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know which ones you've been using. Any tips you guys got on Sand 3. And if you need your songs mixed and mastered, hit me up at mixandmastermysong.com. You can also check out my presets and course there as well. See you on the next time.